Okay. All right. Power settings. Does this actually work? Huh. Did we fix it? Huh. We actually fixed it. Wow. Hey Jason, how's it going? Doing all right. It's been a long week for me. Just dealing with all sorts of real life stuff, so try and do a little bit of gaming, hopefully unwind a little bit. Do a little bit of relaxing hardcore content. As is tradition. I can't remember what I was doing at all. What even were we doing? I think we were trying to get blessings. Oh, I hope that bot doesn't end up being too spammy. Do we want T6 int boots? Slamming into This is pretty interesting. 2 LP Bone Climber. Could actually slam that. I haven't organized at all this whole time. My stuff is all over the place. Quite a mess. Take mana. I could slam that onto Stormcarp, so that would be quite something. T7 int. Be very good. Probably Runic Creation, not even. You got some upgrades on your Sorc, very nice. Were you playing hardcore? I don't remember. I think you had the same, you were running the same build, right? Ooh, that's terrible roll. Six, so we'll keep the 7s, I think. I'd probably consider slamming move speed. I don't know if it's worth it on hardcore though. Probably not. You're using the Frostclaw Lightning. How are you using Lightning Blasts with the Dragwrath Claw to proc it? Or are you self-casting? Yeah, Static Orb is good. You should be fine with that amount of mana. It's quite a bit. With Dagger? Okay. I see. How do you feel about the Wrong Warp versus the Dagger? I'm guessing it feels a lot better, but you don't get the instant detonate anymore. E7 mana. Let's hold on to that. You have trouble bursting bosses. Yeah, part of it comes down to practice. The other part is having the gear, but you should have enough gear. At 300 corruption, 1300 mana, you probably have the right gear. So I don't think we care about mana regen. I could even do defensive slams. Teleport is weird with the Wrong Warp. Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest downside of Wrong Warp is the teleport is awkward to use. That is definitely true. I'm not a huge fan of the weird teleport, but it does seem worth it for the benefits. Yeah, I think we're okay with this. Alright, I'll do a couple echoes to get my bearings again. It's been a few days since I've had a chance to play. I'm actually not even sure if my filter shows the Alchemist ladle. Do we know? Hey Red, how's it going? Fine, fine, that's good. Glad to hear it. You guys remember if I added ladle? Kind of getting a little suspicious that I forgot to add ladle to my filter. I don't have any of them to drop on this character. Ladle was... What type of wand was ladle? I think it was a birch wand, wasn't it? Add up this ladle. Unique birch wand. Yeah, okay. Oh, I did. Okay, perfect. I'm not crazy. Yeah, this should be good. Aura hammered in. VK. Okay. That sounds pretty fun. The hammer looks pretty strong from the builds I've seen so far. You use the ladle for speed clearing. You find the ladle is actually better than the wrong warp for speed clearing. I could see if you had a source of haste, I think ladle would probably be better, like if you had haste on your boots. But without haste, I feel like it's hard to compete with the wrong warp. Maybe though. Optimal corruption. I think ideally you want to do 300, and if you can clear higher corruption without going slower, then go higher, up to 1,000. And then I don't think there's ever a reason to go beyond 1,000 in the current game. Alright, let's see what our... So we're still... I think we need to do Lagan. I think Lagan is probably what I was working on. Lagan is such a nightmare. Because Lagan can actually kill me. Unlike most other bosses. Lagan is also basically optional. You use teleport too much when clearing? Yeah, fair. I find with wrong warp I don't even use teleport all the time when it's off cooldown. Feels weird playing again after not playing for a while. My guide shows Mana Strike. I switched to focus when I got to around 1,000 mana. Maybe a bit earlier. Focus versus Mana Strike is kind of personal preference. You can generate a lot more mana per second with Mana Strike, but it requires you to be in melee range. Because this is a hardcore character, I went with focus instead, because I can use focus from range. So if I'm fighting bosses, I don't need to go into danger to generate mana. I will use Static Orb eventually, but it's not really a priority. Going for the one-shot bosses with Static Orb on hardcore is a bit risky. If you don't quite one-shot, then you're in danger. Especially if you don't generate enough ward to survive a hit. Attempt number 2. Attempt number 1 is highlighted on one of my recent videos. I go over what happened. Basically, I guess the TLDR is that the damage ranges are quite large before Monolith. I got one shot through quite a lot of defense at level 47. I had like over 1400 health and high resists and all that stuff. I just got one shot, so that's what happened there. Hey Warrior, what's up? How's it going? How are you doing? I am doing alright. Just saying, it's been a pretty long week for me. A lot of stuff I need to deal with outside of the game, so I haven't really had much time to play. Kind of just trying to do a bit of a relaxing stream today, unwind a bit. Hopefully we don't have any crazy stuff going on. Relaxing hardcore stream, yeah, I guess. Maybe a little bit weird. You feel Remaster is too weak? Yeah, I agree. I think Remaster is a lot weaker than what do you call it, Sorcerer right now. Spellblade, I don't know. I think Remaster and Spellblade both have distinct enough identities that it doesn't really matter either way. Like, they're both very different. We have Poison one. Yeah, the tower one, exactly. You have 95 on Static, another 82 on Frostclaw, very nice. Yeah, it is a fun build. Hardcore definitely does change a lot of the decisions that I make, though. There's a lot of stuff I would be trying if I was on software right now that I'm not. Just because it's not really worth the risk. Yeah, I'm just now realizing how spammy that bot is. I might disable that. I do want to get Lagon Blessing. Seems like that would be a good next step. Either Shred or Mana. I'd probably take either. $117.13. That's a really nice unstable core. Yeah, rough weeks happen. Tis true. It's alright though, we have a lot of stuff to get done. We have blessings to get, gear to get, slams to do, all sorts of stuff. Keep us busy. Hopefully I don't rip to Lugan. That wouldn't be very fun. Homemade tomato sauce, very nice. I do like a nice tomato sauce. It's been quite a while. Ooh, whoopee. To go with meatballs, nice, nice. That's a classic. Poison actually does quite a lot of damage. Where am I from? I'm from Canada. I am a Canadian. How about yourself? I feel like I need to make some spaghetti. It's been a few months. Almost forgot how tanky this character was. But very slow. No move speed whatsoever. Need to fix that. Barabors with 15 int, okay. Pretty good. We have a 17 already. Alright, let's keep these in the 2 egg. Need to make an egg. How's your unstable core situation? It's not great. I have this one, so could probably be better. It's not terrible. Yeah, I'm trying to make a better one though. Hopefully with int, I think. Using Ellie Nova instead of Meteor. What do you mean using Ellie Nova? Are you talking about Frostclaw? Frostclaw's not that great with Ellie Nova anymore. It doesn't really get that much benefit if you're playing Sorcerer. You just use Ellie Nova to apply spark charges, and it doesn't really give you that many spark charges. Oh man, I hope I don't rip to this. Frostclaw, Meteor Nova. I assume you're not using the Meteor Belt, right? The Harbinger of Stars. I think that might be a different build. Wow. Still no shred or mana. That's brutal. I take either of the two blessings and we got neither of them. Ward Decay is not terrible. Ward per second, it's a pretty good roll. I could take either. I think Ward per second might be better. I'd have to do the math. I'm actually not sure. Actually, Ward Decay is probably better because I go pretty high in ward value. Maybe I'll take Ward Decay. It uses Strands of Soul. Okay, I know the build you're talking about. It's probably just using Meteor for mana regen. Yeah, I don't think Ellie Nova is great. I'm not completely sure the build you're talking about, but I'm guessing that it's the old school Frostclaw Rune-Master. Or is it even Rune-Master? I don't know. But I made a build already on my YouTube that goes over something like that. If you're applying spark charges with Sorcerer using this node here, then Nova doesn't really do much for you. It's a very small increase of damage. You're better off using like Flame Ward or something else. Especially if you're playing hardcore, you'd want the defense, or even Snap Freeze. I just find Nova adds so little that it's not worth it. There's a blind spot on the corner. Yeah, I'm aware of that. I'm just not really comfortable using those sort of things. I prefer to do the fight normally. I don't really trust that it's going to work as expected. Especially when the heights... Whoa, what is going on? Hey, let's go PVM Smite. Thank you so much for the raid. It's coming in huge. Hope you had a great stream. Were you streaming You streaming last Epoch? I feel like I didn't see you on when I started. Streaming Smite. Oh man, Smite. That takes me way back. I haven't played Smite in probably 10 years. Yeah, I did play Smite. Yeah, Smite was, probably like 10 years ago for me. I don't know if there's like a Smite 2 or something now. But yeah, that was a really fun game. I got into that from playing League of Legends, and I liked Smite a lot more. I think, I mean, I was a noob. I never really got that far into it. But yeah, I liked some of the carry characters. Forget all the names, but there was like, X Balanq. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But there's one like you throw these little, spinning attack things. Imagine the game has changed a lot since then. Yeah, that was one of my favorite characters when I played. Definitely very different than the League experience, that's for sure. What's your preferred role? Yeah, for those of all you guys joining in, I am FrozenSentinel. I make a lot of Last Epoch content. Right now we are playing hardcore, doing a homebrewed build that I have already min-maxed on software. So we're just doing it again on hardcore, and we're trying to get to level 100, take out the endgame bosses, and that's the goal. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We are blasting. You main support for like 10 years? Nice, nice. I guess I never really played properly. Is the meta in Smite to, you have a carry and a support? Is that what's like generally standard? So when I played, it was all just like chaos. You're just doing whatever, running around, killing things. Oh. Scary Beam Boy. Trying to take me out here. Oh my god. Another one? Oh, you guys are too kind. QB1 Junkie, let's go. Thank you so much for the raid. 2 in a row. I don't know if I have a shoutout command, but if I do, for everybody here, please head on over to QB1 Junkie and PBM Smite. Hit them up with a follow. Show them some love, as they've shown the love to me. Yeah. Definitely huge thanks to both of you guys. How am I tonight? I mean, I'll be honest, it's been a long week for me. Yeah, I had a lot of family stuff to deal with, but yeah, so that's why I haven't been on the last few days. Just trying to get through some of that stuff, so yeah, right now we're just trying to decompress a bit, have a bit of a chill stream. Hope all is well, thank you. I mean, you know, we're getting through it. But yeah, I don't usually go into that stuff too much on stream. This is a happy time. But yeah, just to let you guys in on where I've been the last couple days. Yeah, hope your guys' streams were great. You had a good time. I'm guessing, I probably don't have to ask, but you were probably playing some Sentinel QB1, I'm guessing. Brewing up some Sentinel builds. It's much faster paced than League of Legends or Dota, but stands up. Yeah, that's what I found. That's what I liked about Smite. I found it a lot faster paced. I think the camera angle definitely helped with that. Oh man, I hope I don't rip to this poison dude. Yeah, the perspective definitely made the feel, at least to me, I felt like it was a lot more fun than League, just because of the perspective and like actually having to aim everything like manually. It's pretty cool. He started the day, finished with a Whirlwind Barb in D4. I'm not surprised that Barb is your go-to in D4. Yeah, that was my go-to as well, Barbarian. Though I'll be honest, I have not played D4 since the start of Season 4. And not really feeling it. I don't know what it is. Something about the D4 endgame just doesn't do it for me. And that's most of the enjoyment that I personally get out of these games is the end game. And I feel like the last Epoch end game just feels a lot better. Trying to learn stuff and things. Oh, I gotcha. Okay, yeah. Well, Barb is definitely a good class to learn stuff on. You have a lot of options. I mean, relatively, right? Last time you played Smite, it was a hard laner support, AD carry, mid laner jungle. I think that's... I mean, like I said, I never really got too deep into Smite. So I can't really say, like, oh, this is meta, because, like, I never got that far to where meta actually mattered. So I feel like I'd be just giving really dumb opinions if I pretend to know about that. But yeah, that makes sense. Seems fun so far. Yeah, I'm glad to hear the end game is getting better though. I think the main gripe I had with D4 is there's sort of like a forced co-op aspect to the game. Like Uber Rotas and Helltides and World Bosses and all this stuff. Like, it really felt like you were forced to play with other people. A lot of times I just want to chill and play alone, you know? I just felt like I was penalized for that in D4. Hey, Mighty Puck, thank you so much for the sub. Much appreciated. Welcome to the crew. Hope you enjoy your stay. Feels more like an MMO. Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. Wasn't going to say it exactly like that, but yeah, pretty much. I agree. Wait a minute, hold on. I don't know if you're here, still here, Smite. Are you like a fully professional Smite player? I had no idea, because I haven't been following in quite some time. Yeah, it's really awesome. I probably sound like a complete noob. This guy's just like, look at this last Epoch player pretending to know the game. But yeah, huge respect. Huge respect. That is a game that takes a lot of skill to be good at. I can appreciate that. Going to sneak into the shadows, grab some supper. Hope I find some peace and escape. Thank you. Appreciate your words, yeah. That's the goal. I mean, that's it's the magic of gaming, right? We can all connect on something and something we have in common and have a good time. Doesn't matter who you are, how good you are, how you like to play the game. We're all just here to have a good time. So you can tell I'm not really paying a whole lot of attention. I'm kind of just roaming through the maps. Game feels great to play. The Gods theme turned you out? I kind of liked it. I thought the Gods theme was kind of cool, to be honest. I mean, I could see why it would put you off, but... like, there's all the gods from the different cultures and stuff. I thought that part was really cool. Still alive? Let's go. Yeah. We are still alive for now. Probably not for long at this rate. Unless I start paying attention here. Eternal Gauntlets. Hey Captain, what's up? How's it going? I am doing alright. We be just chilling, playing the classic build. The good old tried and true Frostclaw. 3 patches straight. Frostclaw is the king. The third person aspect. Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought was really cool. I played a lot of games like that when I was younger. This isn't the Frostclaw static orb build anymore? Well, this is a new character. I'm playing on hardcore. My other character is Frostclaw static orb, if you want to check my profile. But yeah, this new one... the new one is still Frostclaw for now. I might transition later on once we have some better gear. But we'll have to see. See where we end up. It's past midnight. Alright. Have a good night. Thank you for dropping in. Take care. Man, that bot is kind of spammy, actually. I don't know why I put that on a 5-minute timer. Spellblade today, you have a 4 LP Kestrel. Not sure what to slam. I think your options for the slam is you either go generic if you want to use it for different classes, or you go specific and maybe go for like spell crit or lightning multi or intelligence, something like that. You have quite a few options if you want to play mage. I think intelligence is a safe bet because it's good for a lot of mage builds. You could also do mana. If you do int and mana, then you can use it for any class. Although int might not be that useful. Do we want relics? I feel like we do. We do want relics. Yeah, you can do the drag Wraith Claw thing though. It's completely fine. It does use a bit of extra mana just because of Lightning Blast itself. But if you have a lot of mana, you can sustain it fairly well, and then it's not really a big deal. In general, though, I think Wrong Warp and Ladle are both better endgame than Claw. So, definitely, it's kind of up to you if you want to use that. You felt the need for another character to help gear it out? Yeah, if you want, you can just gear your character up using the standard Frostclaw build I'm using now. Staticorp is kind of endgame, but Frostclaw definitely is not. If you go back in the VODs for this hardcore character, I basically started using Frostclaw at level 51 with no issues, so you definitely have. Oof. I don't know if I even want that. The guide is great, thank you. I appreciate that. It's not hard to make a guide when the build turns out so well, right? Oh my god. Monsters just running at me one by one. Cold Pen with Frostbite. I think I'm actually gonna banish this. I'll keep it just because it's such a good roll. I'm gonna see what I can get. But that's a really useless affix. Ladle plus int mana. Yeah, Ladle's good. Early on, Ladle is not that great because it kind of depends on having flat damage to scale. So if you don't have a lot of flat damage, it's better to just get like an Exalted Wand or something with a better base type. Plus, if you are playing hardcore, killing mage early on is risky. This mage is quite strong, does a lot of damage. Yeah, Frostlaw does make life easy. Gear requirements are basically nothing to get started. Huh. Pretty neat. Hopefully this time around we can actually get an aspect, or not aspect, blessing. Aspect, where did I get that from? Phantom Grips are 14, yeah, it's true. When you think about it though, the items they give are not actually that strong that early on. It gives you flat crit. And at that point in the game, you probably don't have much increased crit. So it isn't really that overpowered. It also gives you percent increased mana, which you don't have much flat mana, so... I don't actually think it's overpowered to have it that early on. If you had that with a bunch of other items, then yeah, it would be quite strong. If you had that with like a T7 mana, yeah, with full twink to leveling gear, it would be insane. I agree. Like if you had some int slams giving you I guess you wouldn't have Sorc tree that early, but not too far after that, you'd get the increased crit here. You get some int slams, probably around level 20, I think. And then some way to get some flat spell damage. It's hard to get flat spell damage early on. I think your best bet would probably be a sword, because you can slam exalted spell damage. I think that's the only way you could get a bunch of flat spell damage early on. That's unless I'm drawing a blank there. Necrotic Grimoire is pretty good. Weaver's Wing? Yeah, Weaver's Wing could be good. It gives a lot of mana. Some mana spent gained a sword. I don't think it's that great though. It's the only thing you really want on ring slot is intelligence. There's a few other stats that are good, but the ring affixes are not that powerful to begin with. This is terrible. Weaver's Boots can potentially be good, because they give DOT mitigation, which can be quite strong. There's not many sources of that. But there's already really good boots, like Exile Boots. Weaver Gloves can be pretty good, so there aren't really great gloves. And there are quite a few good affixes in the glove slot, like cast speed, mana, int, armor mitigation, or crit mitigation, all that stuff. There's also a Weaver Belt, I guess. Not a huge fan of that one. This is Avalanche dudes. Alright. These guys are dangerous. Some of those stacks can potentially one-shot me. Just the avalanche, though, those things are scary. Alright, we have damage. We don't want double damage, I don't think. It's a little bit scary, isn't it? Yeah, it's fine. I need to be a little bit careful. We have double damage modifiers and a bit of corruption here, so... Trophy Jungle Queens and a Grimoire, nice. Let's go. Yeah, Jungle Queen's a pretty good leveling belt. I think it's like level 11 or something, 14 maybe, something like that. You have T6 and 106 spell crit. Yeah, that's a pretty good relic, yeah. Probably not worth for this build specifically, just because of how much Stormcart gives, but for a lot of builds that'd be pretty good. Ghostmaker? Oh, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, if you're not high enough level, I understand. It's really good to have a relic that nice that early on. It's like a level 30 level requirement or something. Is there a way to filter for LP and stash? Yes, you can just type the words. You can type in legendary potential and then the number, and it will actually filter. Yeah, this is a little bit scary. You can shorthand? Really? If you're right, I learned something new today. I didn't realize the search had shorthands. Let's see. 1 LP? 1 LP? Maybe not. No LP has more value than 1 LP? Not necessarily. If you get a 0 LP, you still have to go through the roll system to actually add LP. So, like, if you have a no LP red ring, for example, it's not anywhere near as good as a 1 LP, because the chances that you're going to get a 1 LP out of it is nothing, and the chance you're going to get a good affix on it is also basically nothing. So the only time that 0 LP is better than 1 LP is for items that generally have a low legendary potential level to begin with. And these items are easy to find with higher LP. So like a Bone Clamor is not too hard to find with a lot of LP. They're fairly common, and I think the LP level is low-ish. I don't know. Maybe that's not a good example. What would be a better example? I guess a Phantom Grip, right? The LP level is not that high. For this one, it's fairly easy to get like 2 or 3 LP. So in that case, I think a 0 LP has more potential than a 1 LP, because you probably wouldn't use a 1 LP anyway. So yeah, I think it depends on the item and the legendary potential level of the item. Usually 1 LP I think would be better than a 0. You got lucky with your red ring, you got T5 strength on it. Not bad. That's a really good start. It also helps you make your attribute threshold. Yeah, specific tab affinities or whatever would be nice. They did make the sorting better. It sorts by type now. Before it seemed like it was just random, but like all the stuff here seems to be in order. It's pretty good. Definitely an improvement. Like keys and stuff will all sort. That's a new feature. What do I have for prophecies here? Mortal Eye, rare enemy. Black Sun, I need to do that. Getting a well-rolled one, yeah, I agree. It's hard. That's where the 0 LPs are nice. For the more common items, you can choose the ones that you want to roll with based on what you want, right? So I think for that it helps getting the rerolls on the well-rolled items. Yeah, I kept all of my like perfectly rolled 0 LPs. Searching Prophecies. Yeah, that was on my wish list. Definitely that one. Yeah, yeah. If the roll matters a lot, Nemesis is pretty nice. It's nice to get the rerolls, like the selective rerolls. It's this one. This boss is so tanky. I feel like this enemy literally has more survivability than Lagon or something. I don't know why this one has so much HP. Super tanky. I still need to find a prismatic case. I haven't even found one yet. This helmet is not bad though. We have mana int and I guess not much else. Mostly just using it because of the base type. We'll do DR for Lagon. If I full clear this one, I'll get Lagon on the next Echo. Sure, give you double suffering. Oh no. Oh yeah, I think I remember that one. Yeah, that's pretty rough. Double suffix is like always the pain. As long as you can get a T7, it's like not the end of the world, but double suffix is... I hate the beam mages on the snow maps because you can't actually see the beam until you end up face tanking it. Get triple T6. Yeah, the affixes are never great, are they? very rare. I almost got a good one. I threw a wrong warp into Nemesis, and I think I got like... I want to say I got T6 crit multi, and like... maybe T5 crit multi, and then like T4 or T5 mana spent on the first Empower. And then instead of clicking Empower again, I accidentally clicked Challenge. So I didn't get the second roll. That could have been an actual S tier wrong warp out of Nemesis. But instead we messed it up. Oh yeah, I need to full clear this one. That one felt bad. It's okay though. We all mess up crap sometimes. There we go. That should be enough. Smoke Weaver? Sure. Your PoE download? Oh, you have the beta? Nice. How did you get into the closed beta? Did you have to apply, or did they just send you a download link? This looks fine. Let's go ahead. Please give me a good blessing. Hey Fade, what's up? How's it going? I'm doing alright. We're still just blasting our hardcore character. Same ol', same ol'. Need to get our mana back for phase 2. There we go. Just sign up on the front page? Okay. Yeah, I didn't realize they had that already. I haven't really been following the whole PoE2 thing. Kind of out of the loop on that one a bit. So I should probably pay attention while fighting Wagon, actually. Now that I think of it, this is a good way to rip, isn't it? Oh! I accidentally almost dodged into the one-shot there after he died. That would have been not good. This is Shred, though. I do want mana, but I'll take Shred. I'll take Shred. Oh, I guess there's probably a pretty big lineup, right? Hmm. Yeah, fair enough. Probably missed out on that one. Yeah, that'll be pretty exciting stuff coming soon. Looking forward to seeing what that looks like once we have our full launch and everything. I do want to get better all res. So maybe we want crit multi. Nah. I'm okay with that. We can maybe try pushing a bit more corruption. And then doing some XP farm. Huey's gotten stale as hell. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of got tired of PoE 1 a while ago. Do we try for a slam? Maybe. Yeah, we can try a slam, I guess. We do have some prophecies for Sanctum anyway, so... There's definitely trade that turned me off of PoE, and some of the other, like, poor quality of life stuff wasn't a huge fan of.
More rats come to gnaw at the edges of my sanctum.
Yeah, I find last Epoch endgame more fun as well. No, that's not an opinion everybody will agree with, though. There's definitely more to do in Path of Exile, but I think the whole process, the endgame process, just didn't really do it for me. Is this Jorah? Rare enemy. You dropped the link. Yeah, YouTube blocks the links automatically. The trade system. Yeah, I think trade system, yeah, in general I'm not a huge fan. But in PoE 1, if you chose to play SSF, then you're kind of just playing hard mode, really. Which is fine if that's what you're into. These walls are really tough to jump through. I think it's because I don't have much move speed. There we go. Seems easier with Flame Rush. 4% prismatic, not bad. We'll see if we can get an egg on that. Yeah, you shall not pass, yeah, pretty much. Feels that way.
Finally, I will have its power.
Walls can be a little annoying. They're more just inconsistent. Okay, let's just keep Flame Rush for now.
Fools. Fools.
I know I can go through this one. There we go. Not even sure what I want to slam. I have a couple items I could do.
Epoch, I will have it. Escape is impossible.
What the hell?
Cannot be denied.
I got my timing wrong there. Oh, Supak has no bugs, yeah. Very true. Very true. No bugs at all. Hey, let's go! Hey Aaron, what's up? How's it going? Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, welcome. You were just in time for everybody's favorite part of last Epoch. Hope you had a great stream. I hope all you wonderful people are having a great day. Stop playing broken stuff. I'm playing hardcore, okay? I get to play broken stuff. That's the only concession I get here, right? Plus, technically, this is a homebrewed build. This is a simple, balanced build that I came up with myself, so being overpowered doesn't count. This is a homebrew build. What do we actually slam here? Oh, wow. I didn't realize I had a pro Smite player in chat. That's awesome. I feel like I should have recognized that name. Okay, so we're slamming either this or this. What do you guys think? 8 strength is a lot of armor, but we'd lose all the armor on these boots. It'd be a pretty sad day. Gain move speed, gain int. We already have a pretty decent unstable core, so this would need to be a perfect hit. I don't know if that's happening. Not today. The helm, we still need to egg it, so that's not ready. That egg is not yet cooked. I think it's going to be boots, isn't it? We have a oh, I almost forgot about my relic. Obviously, we're slamming this. What am I even thinking? Is there any other answer? So Fizz Res we don't care about. We already have a 16, so I don't even need to reroll. This is a no-brainer, isn't it? Plus for Gen. Chance to apply Frailty. Technically would be an upgrade, even though it's not the best. Fizz Res. Fizz Res is not that great, because with this you already have 43. Cold Res. Cold Res is okay. I think I can live with Cold Res. I don't think I'm going to keep going. If I brick this, I lose the Rune of Creation. That's painful. I am actually going to Creation this, even though I only have one. So this is my best item. Alright, here we go. This is my only Stormcarved. Oh my god, I'm dumb. Ugh. Ugh. You guys are just sitting there in chat like, what is this guy doing? Forgot I'm only on T2 Temp Sanctum right now. I need to run it again. Ugh. You guys in chat were just quietly waiting for me to be dumb. Alright, well. In that case, we do need boots, I think. Or move speed. I guess I could do move speed as well. What a noob, yeah. Yeah, you got me. You got me. I am the noob. There's no way I don't have move speed boots, right? Oh, I do have int boots. Alright. Okay, here's the idea, right? Yeah. Okay, we get armor or we get int and we're happy. These are nice boots. See, this is why you don't upgrade your T4 first, because you have a chance to crit success. You don't want to waste that chance. Crafting tips. Always leave your T4s to last. Meant it in a good... Oh, no, I got you. No worries. We could go for the seal here, and then put move speed on it. That would be a pretty nice slam. These boots are trash, though. Honestly, like, what I get here doesn't matter that much. I'm thinking move speed. But chances are I'm going to rip all my FP trying to get it. Whatever, let's do it. I don't know if I would use it if move speed, though. Like, I lose way too much defense. Yeah, see, there you go. We got the other T4 up to T5 for free. Not bad. I mean, I'm not going to creation it, so I can just risk it. High roll, please. 17, sure. These are honestly nice boots on their own. Like, even if I wasn't slamming it, these would be nice boots. Alright, here we go. Hit me with that int. Please, game, help me out. I'm tis but a noob. Just a little noob. I need help here. Give me the RNG when I need it most. Streamer RNG activated. I saw Aaron do this on his stream. To build up suspense. I'm copying Aaron. Here we go. Let's check it out. Oh, maybe not. Ah. Oh, it feels bad. I don't know if that's even an upgrade. Let's see. So we gain 4 move speed. We lose a bunch of armor. We lose a bunch of resist. Copied the wrong... I don't know. I don't think this is even worth using. Such a bad slam. No. My current boots are way too good. They solve a lot of my problems. Alright, we need a... It is trash, yeah. Grave. Yeah, this is my rip tab. This can go in here. Yeah, this is terrible. Where's the rest of my bad legendary? I don't even know if I picked them up. I also wish the background wasn't so similar. I'm not even colorblind, but like the red and the orange look very similar to me. Like I can kind of see it, but you have to like really squint. Maybe I'm just blind. I don't know. That could be it as well. We could be blind. Brown and the red? Yeah, this color and this color are very similar to me. I mean, I can see the difference, obviously, like, it is different. But they do look similar. Like, if I'm looking at these two items that are kind of small, the small border, it's a little bit hard for me to see. It could just be me. Like, maybe my eyeballs are bad. Colorblind test? I have done colorblind tests, and I'm not colorblind. It could be the monitor, yeah. That is possible. I mean, it's a pretty good monitor, good graphics card. All my settings are default. Shouldn't be a problem. Could also just be getting older. We could just be getting old. Alright, we have another Sanctum to do, don't we? Yeah, it's a good monitor. It's actually... I used to work for a company. They sent me this monitor for working. But for whatever reason, it's a gaming monitor. It's like 4K, whatever. It's like some fancy gaming monitor. I looked it up. It was like a $400 monitor. I don't know why they sent me that. But anyway, when I got laid off, they never asked for it back, so here we are. Still have the gaming monitor sent from my last job. So not bad, I guess. I'll take it. Under 75. This is 78. That one's a T4. This is 77. Oh man, feels bad. Can't really slam anything, can we? I don't even think so. This is 82. This is 60. I need to get something I can actually slam. Sad to hear. Oh no, layoff was honestly great. I was pretty happy to get the layoff because I was looking for another job already. I was trying to change jobs. And then with the layoff, that gave me unemployment while I was job searching. So I had a lot more free time to apply to other jobs, and then I ended up getting one right after, so it ended up turning out quite well for me in the end. A little bit scary at the time, but it all worked out. Do I want to yeah, I do. Let's continue. Did I fiddle around with a better color profile? No.
Waste of time.
I haven't bothered. I just left everything default. I'm not usually a stickler for severance. Well, I work in tech, so it's pretty normal for employees to not stay at one job for long. I'd only been there for a little bit over a year. So I wasn't really entitled to much severance. Why can I not go through this? I wasn't entitled to much severance, but they did. They laid off like 40% of the company, and they offered 1 month. So I took the month. It was basically like, hey, if you sign now, you don't fight us with lawyers, you get 1 month. If you try and fight us, then we'll take it away. That's basically what they said. So I signed it. Damn. Really doesn't want me to go through that wall. Yeah, so I signed it. It was fine. I mean, they didn't do anything wrong to my knowledge. I don't think I would have had much grounds to sue them. Not that they had any money. Yeah, job hopping is standard. I'm like, I don't know how many years into my career now. 9, 10 maybe? And I've changed jobs 5 or 6 times. Like, it's super normal. 1 month is better. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, 1 month was better than normal. That was, for those of you familiar, that was during the time where tech was having massive layoffs. Like, this was at the end of COVID. And this was like when all the big tech companies were laying off like huge numbers, like tens of thousands of employees. It was during that period. So it wasn't just me, it was a lot of people. But yeah, I said it was really lucky because in that case, I had actually already started the interview process with another company when I got laid off, which is my current job. So when I got laid off, I was like already maybe on like the second stage of interviews for my now current job. So not only did I get severance, I also had another job lined up at the same time. So I basically got like an entire month off paid by severance with a job lined up. Like it worked out so perfectly. Like I just had a month to play video games because I already had a job signed. I didn't have to like look for anything.
How are they manipulating time?
And it was even a better job too. Like super lucky for me. Like higher paying, full remote, all that. Like it's really good. Yeah, I was trying to leave. I wasn't happy with the company. I was looking for other jobs, but it was hard. It was really hard at the time. So the timing just worked out like perfectly. Because if you leave, I don't know about the US, but in Canada, if you leave a company, you're not entitled to severance. It's only if you get laid off. Same with unemployment. So yeah, if I had found that job a few days earlier, I wouldn't have gotten my severance. Just weird how timing like that works out. Plays such a big role. Yeah, I think Intel laid off a lot. There was a website that was showing like the numbers of layoffs. It was pretty huge. Like Amazon did a bunch, I think Google did a bunch. Getting fired? I think fired is different. I don't think you're entitled to anything if you get fired. Like if they have reasonable cause to lay you off, or to fire you, like if you stole something from the company and they fire you for it, I don't think you get anything. But employers are very scared to fire people unless they have like an insane amount of evidence. because they get sued, right? So it's usually it's not worth it. Very, very rare that people get fired.
The Epoch, I will have it. Sapphire water.
Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah, I imagine that's probably similar in most places. You forgot how Jorah phases were? Yeah. Yeah. Jorah is a little janky. It depends. Sometimes you can get something, people tiptoe around salary pushes and firing. Yeah. I think the whole thing is like a little bit sensitive. People are afraid. They're afraid of rocking the boat, but you do have to try your best to get what you're worth, but it can be hard depending on like what your field is. For some it's a lot easier than others. Doing awesome work with the game analysis. Thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, I do like analyzing the game. That's one of my favorite parts. Is to put the ideas together and all that stuff. Go into the math. Oh, I can't even slam this yet. Cold is nice. There you go. Try not to be too cold. Just on to use the free stuff. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Thank you for dropping in. Take care. I appreciate being the one to be chosen for the free sub. That means a lot. And also, I guess if you're still here, I know you made the original unique loot filter. I don't know if you saw the upgraded one, the new and improved for this cycle, but yeah, thought you'd find that pretty cool. The 2.0. All right, what do we want to slam? I don't really have anything. His name has Sentinel. False advertising, yeah. I'm a liar. Never Sentinel. Yeah, this is kind of tough. Prism Wraps is kind of nice. I could do the Bone Clamor, but I don't know if I would even use it over... actually, maybe. Am I still over 1,000 mana without... No, but I could probably get there. I could probably get 1,000. We don't have a good helmet to slam, though, I don't think. Have I done the Stormcarved? Stormcarved needs to be T4. I'm not at T4 Jewelry, I just did T3. T4 is next. I don't think I have anything that's level appropriate for T3 Jewelry. I'll just slam something random for fun, I guess. I can slam the helmet, but I don't have a good helmet to slam into it. I might have a mana one or something. Mana, yeah. There we go. Actually, let's do our 2 LP. Why not? Feel like a little bit of excitement today. This is actually a perfect 2 LP, 13 int. This is a very wasteful slam. This should be T7 int. I don't even know if this is smart. Wasting a 13 int Bone Clamor on such a bad exalt. Might be able to do better. Let's see if I have a better one. Yeah, so we only have T6 here. The wasteful or the most successful? Yeah, that's my concern. That's what I'm worried about. Static Orb? I don't think I'm using Static Orb yet, though. Can't believe I don't have any ints at all? Really? Unlucky. It could be near best. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'll hold off. We'll do this one instead. Trying to get something on my gaze needs to be egged. It has no LP on it. Phantom grips? I have no phantom grips. The situation is dire. Wait, hold on a minute. Just realized I have 87 health regen. That's funny. Yeah, I do want to do the Stormcarp Slam. We only gain a small amount of int with this. We don't need the crit reduction. The only thing we really get from this is armor and a bit of word per second. How much word per second is it? 1 word per 3 uncapped. It's just like 40 per second. And free cap on necrotic res. It's not really worth it. We'll throw it in the graveyard. Now, I'll be honest, I'm a little bit scared of T4 Julra on this character, because we're not that strong yet. What's the worst that could happen? Yeah, true. Lightning Disintegrate would be viable endgame. I don't think Disintegrate mechanically is a good skill. For single target, it'll never compete with Static Orb. For clear, it's like F tier. I just don't see a world where Disintegrate is good unless they change how it works.
Upon my research. No matter. They cannot reach me.
I don't know how they'd make the mechanics not feel so bad. What if you use the Static Orb node on Disintegrate? What is the Static Orb node? I don't even remember that. I'll have to check here in a second. Yeah. It would be one thing. If the damage was very high, I think some people might use it. But not only is the damage really bad, it's also mechanically bad. Like channeling skills that you need to stay still. Awkward spot. static orb every 3 seconds? That doesn't seem like enough. If it's works the way I think it does, that means that you don't get any static orb initially, and you have to be casting for 3 straight seconds before you get any static orbs. Meatballs are so good. Nice. Nice, nice. Pog meatballs. Oof, it's not even static, it's volcanic or static. That's awkward. Oh, I guess you can choose with the conversion. Okay, fair enough. Do lightning, I think. Yeah, you can do lightning if you want. But even still, I think the way it would work is you'd have to start channeling, and it wouldn't give you any static orbs on start. It would only be after 3 seconds, and if you need to do 3 seconds of casting to get your damage out, it's so awkward. I don't think it's anywhere near as good as self-casting Lightning Blast and Static Orb, and that's already not even a great combo. Like, Lightning Blast is a clear skill, it's not that great. It's kind of underwhelming. It's like a much worse version of Frostclaw. I could be wrong though, it's possible. Maybe there's some tech that we could do with Static Orb, or with Disintegrate. I was thinking about Spellblade with the crit synergy for scaling your damage, so you can get like 400% crit chance, but I'm not even sure if that would be... I don't even think that would be worth it, or enough. Throw people arrows, yeah. Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of damage. With the boots too, giving you flat damage, it'll be quite strong. The base damage of Smite with that should be quite high as well. You could probably go for some attack speed to get more smites, because you're scaling that. Not using Smite, you automatically get Smite, don't you? You don't need to have it spec'd early on. Yeah, but you still get Smite. It still casts Smite. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does. You don't need to have the skill tree. Come on. Let me through. Alright, fine. No, I think you do get the smites. I'm pretty sure there was a bear build that used the meteor belt to get meteors. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that one, but I think it's the same idea. Alright, here we go. T4 Julra on hardcore. Attempt number 1. I guess I should say the only attempt. Oh, shit. I just realized I timed my warp poorly. That was getting a little bit sketchy. Yeah, we don't have enough war gen to sit in all the things I was tanking there. Could go for the one shot. I don't know if I have enough damage though. Technically, I probably get 2 bursts. I think I get 2 attempts at the burst, maybe. Could be worth a try. Yeah, I had to click that portal like 5 times. It wasn't letting me go through. Yeah, I'm gonna try and get some more slams. I don't really have good bases yet. Just keep farming for the time being. I can tell it's been way too long since I fought Julra properly. Out of practice for that fight. Alright, I think we'll push up to 200 corruption in this timeline, try and get a better blessing. There we go, plus 47, 59, 65. Okay.
What's of yours?
Okay. 230, not bad. Oh no. You lost your 96 to a DC. That's awful. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, that's the rough part of hardcore. And you got the int on your relic. Oof. Yeah, that's a painful one. Glad you're enjoying the build though. It should be pretty quick to get back. As long as you have some backups and stuff, I imagine you probably do. Backup gear. Yeah, alright, that's good. I did just start up a Jirlra not long ago. I jumped out though, I got a little bit spooked. My damage was not quite high. Some of the stuff was a little bit scary. Probably could have done it, but not really worth risking it. Took you 3 phases? Yeah. I was trying to rush it. I messed up the phase transition. What do I actually want now? Probably mana, maybe cooldown. Could get more crit here. Could even go for the int over here if I want. I don't know if it's worth it. Probably more. Let's see. Heart was bad. Yeah, I bet. That's always a scary one on hardcore. You never really know what's going to happen. I actually do have quite a bit of spell crit already, even without any base crit. Your controller batteries die. I've had that happen quite a few times, where my keyboard would just disconnect randomly while playing. That is quite scary. Never while I was playing hardcore, but I guess it could happen. That is a scary thought, though. Maybe I do start going for damage. Could get crit multi here. It's 10%. I have a 10% in Sorc. Wireless keyboard. I keep my wireless keyboard wired for that reason, but it's still like just disconnects. I guess technically it's like Bluetooth. I can't actually plug it in wired even though I want to. Pretty unfortunate. Yeah, maybe we go for damage now. Yeah, because we have like no crit multi at all. How much would this give us? We have roughly 1/3 crit chance because of the lightning crit that's not counted here. So at 2, we have 2 times damage, go 2.1, getting 0.1, the third of our damage. Yeah, that seems okay. We can do that. What do I think about damage to mana before health? I don't think it's good for this build because we don't have enough mana sustain to justify it. You're just gonna not be able to cast Frostclaw. And even if you're doing static orb your burst, it might be okay. What's my ward decay threshold? Quite high, I think. 800. Mostly from the free stuff from Sorcerer. Yeah, for Glacier I think it would be better. So you do have more mana sustain. There's a pretty good node in the Sorcerer tree, if that's what you want. What do I think of Ellie compared to PoE? It's a pretty big question. I think in last Epoch, your time is respected more. That's the big thing. After playing a lot of PoE, I felt like I just wasn't really enjoying the game anymore because of like non-asynchronous trade and the whole like league start thing. Felt like it. PoE sort of just felt like a job after a while. Whereas last Epoch I can play more at my own pace, not be forced to deal with trade or anything. It's definitely a preference thing. I don't think either game is better than the other necessarily. It's more what you want. The threshold? I think it makes sense that it's in Sorcerer. Sorcerer is like mana themed. It makes sense that the mana node is in Sorcerer. Spellblade has one too. Yeah, Spellblade does have one. It's not in the mastery area though, so anybody can get it. It isn't that great. You get like 100 threshold with 100 int. It's like almost nothing. Yeah, I think the main thing is like, at least for me, on the league starts and PoE, like I always felt obligated to rush and like find all the good items and then sell them and whatever, make a lot of currency so that I could play the builds that I want. Like I was sort of, I felt like I had to play PoE. I don't know. Like I had to put the hours in, even if I didn't really want to, even though I know that's like not a healthy mindset. But like if you wanted to be OP in Path of Exile, I felt like the path towards getting there was a lot more toxic than last Epoch. Yeah, last Epoch was very stress-free. That's kind of how I feel.
Fools.
Yeah, I think the endgame in PoE is good. The content is fun and challenging. The crafting is very in-depth and all that stuff. There is just so much content. But after quite a few years of it, I realized it wasn't for me. Yeah, the aspect of beating the market, I think is what kind of ruined it for me. I just realized I didn't like dealing with trade. and I was doing it because I had to make good characters. If you want to make like a S tier character and like destroy content, min-max, all that stuff, which is what I like doing, you're forced to play the market. Yeah, the modifiers in PoE were a bit annoying. It's like, oh, no mana regen map. Well, my build doesn't work on that. Or whatever other modifier. I don't even remember. Yeah, that was a big issue with PoE. A lot of modifiers that just kind of bricked your build. Unless Epoch, the modifiers are a little bit more generic. Some builds get affected worse than others. Yeah, I don't even care that COF is worse than MG that much. Like, it doesn't really bother me. I just like that there's a bit of a consolation. Like, in PoE, you have the choice between trading or not, and they're both, like, viable options. In PoE, SSF is just a challenge mode. It's not a player agency. It's not like pros versus cons, right? It's like, if you want to not trade, you're at a disadvantage. Like, just straight up. There's no compromise, there's no like consolation, here's your extra loot because you're not trading. There's none of that. It's just, if you want to be OP, you trade. If you don't care, you don't. Like, that's pretty much it. Like, it's not a real choice, I think. Copy paste a link to sort your maps for a build. Oh my god. Yeah. I guess I just enjoy the min-maxing in Last Epoch more than Path of Exile. Even though, like, there is a lot of depth to the Path of Exile endgame, but it almost sometimes just feels like complexity for the sake of it. Like, a lot of people say it's, like, bloated or whatever. I feel like that's kind of how it feels sometimes. When you have like so many different systems over so many years, it makes sense. I think we actually got the same outcome from the egg again. Yeah, it's gotten a lot better since beta. It's a big difference. Merchant Guild could be the best guild. It already is the best guild. They definitely could add more flavor to Merchant Guild. But it is the best guild. The negative for you and Ellie was the end game? mean, beyond the monoliths, there isn't really that much to do. Like, that is the end game. There's stuff in the monoliths. There's some bosses and whatever, but there aren't really other viable activities. Like, you can do dungeons, but it's not an alternative to monoliths. You can do arena, same thing. Like, the loot is bad. There isn't really any progression beyond, like, leaderboard. The only real, like, end game progression is monolith. But, like, for me, it's still fun, because, like, I'm progressing my character. Occasionally I have to do some other stuff to get, like, different gear, or do a craft, or do, you know, bosses to find certain items. Like, I don't really mind it. How do you get your money up for MG? You have to sell items. Items cost a lot, but they also sell for a lot, so you have to find items and sell them. Yeah, monoliths are definitely a lot more exciting now. I think I already have Mana Stroke, yeah. I don't need another one. Things don't always sell. If they don't sell, then your price is too high. I mean, it's just supply and demand, right? If you want an item worth 1.5 billion, you have to sell an item worth 1.5 billion. Is there a form of trading? Yeah. Last Epoch has two separate factions. There's the no trade faction that gets bonuses to loot acquisition, and there's the trade faction, which can trade items for gold. So for me, I generally play the no trade faction, and then I find all my gear myself. But a lot of people prefer doing the trading. You can also trade, regardless of your faction, with party members. If an item drops while you're in a party, like you're playing with friends, you can just gift them the items with no restrictions. And there's even mechanics in the game where if you frequently play with the same player, you can gift them items that didn't drop when you were together. So there's a lot of flexibility. I usually play solo though, which is how I prefer to play the game. Team play is better than market trade? They're not really mutually exclusive. Both COF and Merchant Guild players can play solo or as a group. Your friend is giving you a rare item instead of buying? Yeah. Well, I'm just saying that both MG and COF could play in a group and gift items. Like, if I want to give my friend gold, I could gift them an item that we drop, or that I drop, and then they could sell it. I'm pretty sure you could do that. I don't know. I haven't played Merchant Guild myself, so maybe it doesn't work that way. I just know that most of the top players early on who pushed, I guess, high corruption and all that, boss killing early on, they were Merchant Guild players playing in a group. So like if you play PoE, you're probably familiar with Empyrean and his group. They also do some of that stuff in Last Epoch on League Start. And it's a similar idea, like they play in a group, they do trade. And usually they have like crazy gear, like very early on. Just taking advantage of all the stuff they can use. Wait a minute, this is not priority. This is priority. We really need move speed. I'm so slow. You started your journey as a Void Knight? Let's go. Love to hear it. Always happy to have another traveler in the game. Yeah, if you already have the game, definitely worth giving it a go again. So a lot has changed in the last whiles. I'm sure you'll enjoy the experience. If you enjoyed it before, it's even better now. I think the only, or the big complaint I'd have is probably just there are quite a few bugs in the game. That has been a bit of an issue. $50K war, but yeah, that was I think that was a bit of a problem last cycle. The ward was definitely way too strong. Can still be quite strong, but not to the same degree. Major bugs? Major bugs are usually dealt with pretty quickly. It's mostly like a lot of smaller bugs. Like a lot of abilities just don't work the way they say they do, or like they do too much damage or too little damage, or like some UI element doesn't work correctly. Like, I think there's a bit of a problem where people are very skeptical of skills and items and stuff in game because of how often they don't work exactly as stated. So like when you're making a build, even if the build makes perfect sense on paper, you aren't really confident the build will actually work until you play it. Which is it's a little bit unfortunate. But I don't really think it's... I mean, it is a big deal, but... It's a big deal, but it's not like... It's not enough to ruin the fun for me. As a build theory crafter, though, it can be quite frustrating when you have to manually test a bunch of interactions because you don't know if they work. Where's my ambush? Ah, there it is. Yeah, graphical bugs. Quite a few of those. Just like weird things every now and then. Hopefully we can get a better blessing here. This one has been a bit of a pain. DK ward builds are still possible? I mean, it's possible in theory, but it would have to be pretty bugged for that to happen. Like, you'd have to be generating like tens of thousands of word per second. Yeah, the quality of life in last Epoch is quite nice. I agree. Alright, let's do one more, and then we get the boss. Hopefully, we get our blessing. Once I get to level 100, I'll be a lot less concerned about dying. That's my primary goal, is getting level 100. Then we can worry about fighting Aberoth and all that stuff. Probably do need to get more prophecies here. Yes, this is one of those like really controversial topics. Like there's a lot of people on both sides of that argument where some players think that like it doesn't really matter how strong a build is. It shouldn't be nerfed because it's like single player and ladder doesn't matter anyway and all these other things. And then there's the other people who they feel like things that are too far out of line should be nerfed. And going forward, those type of interactions and builds should be avoided. And like there's definitely like a lot of debate on that. I'm more on the side of like things that are ridiculously overpowered should be fixed. Because like with 50,000 ward, I mean, sure, eventually you're gonna die. Eventually you're gonna die, right? Like you're gonna push to like 3, 4, 5,000 corruption, and you'll die. But like that's so far beyond the intended part of the game that like it's not even worth considering. Like any normal content, like you look at Aberoth, you look at T4 Julra, you look at like 3, 4, 500 corruption, monos, echo running, exiled mages, whatever. You look at all of that content, and with 50,000 ward, none of it can come close to killing you. Like it doesn't matter how many mistakes you make, it doesn't matter like any of that stuff. Like nothing can touch you. You're just like invincible. And like that's all the main content in the game. Like the infinite scaling endgame monolith, eventually you're gonna die, but like that's like I don't think that that should be the only like balancing factor of like crazy overpowered builds, right? And like I'm not even talking about competition. I'm like I think competition matters to some people. Like I put some weight into it. Like I did some arena last season. I got like rank 1 and I held that for a few days. Not very long. But anyway, like arena's cool and all. But like even from like a longevity of the game standpoint, if characters are just so extremely overpowered that they can trivialize any of the content, like it's hard for you to, or for most people, it's hard to like continue setting goals beyond that point, right? Like, oh, okay, how am I going to continue improving my character? Well, you already one-shot everything in the game. Like, do you really want to? I mean, I'm in the minority. Like, I'm kind of a weirdo in that I keep going. But I think that like for most people, they re-roll way beyond then. Like those overpowered builds, I don't really think they have a place in the game. Plus then like you get really stale meta too when the disparity between like an A tier build and an S tier build is so far. Like that's what frustrates me about this game is like when I look to try and come up with a new build, my first thought instinctively is to compare it to the Frostclaw Static Orb Sorcerer. That's like my benchmark. And like it's so hard. It's so hard to like compete with that. Like this one shots any boss in the game. And this has like crazy AoE, you can clear everything, you just go crazy. And like trying to come up with a new fun build, it's so hard. Like I just look at, oh man, can I use Disintegrate? Nah, it's terrible. Can I use like do something with Mana Strike? You could make a good build with Mana Strike, but it's still not as good. What about like Flame Reave? Like, nah, it's you can make a good Flame Reave build, but it's like 10 times worse, right? Like you could make all these cool builds, but then when you actually look at how good they are, they just like they get completely crapped on by the S tier builds. Like the damage you get from Static Orb is like orders of magnitude higher than like the next best thing. I think that that like kind of stifles build diversity. Yeah, I don't know. Ward decay threshold. You can't. I don't think you can get that much ward decay threshold. Maybe you have like scaling. If you're like a full tank build, I don't know if I have that much of a problem. As long as you're not also like able to one-shot everything. Do I think this is balanced overall? Are we talking about my current build? No. I think my current build is ridiculously overpowered and it should be nerfed. This is definitely not balanced. Yeah, but with the whole mana stacking thing and all that stuff, like, you do get both. Like, this build is tanky. Like, this is a very tanky build, but I also do a crazy amount of damage, and if I spec into Static Orb, I can one-shot bosses. Like, I can speed farm 1,000 corruption without dying. I can one-shot bosses. I can get 200% move speed and speed clear. I can do all of that on the same character. Like, that is not balanced. Like, character should have a weakness. But they're just like, there is none. Consecrate Judgment stacking. Sounds pretty cool, actually. I like the idea. I'm happy to see that there are other strong builds like that. My ward isn't even reaching into 20k. It doesn't matter though. I don't need 20k ward. I can speed farm 1,000 corruption without 20k ward. I have a bunch of armor, I have a bunch of damage reduction, I have a bunch of ward regeneration. Like, I have all these things, like, that's enough for 1,000 corruption. And like, ever since they changed favor and all that stuff, like, there isn't really any reason to go beyond that. It's... This is not a glass cannon build. Like, this is still one of the tankiest builds in the game, while also being one of the highest damage, and like, the potential scaling is like, it's absurd. And like, ward decay threshold is not quite the same as like, as EHP. I mean, kind of for like the one-shots, but like, the thing about your shield... Ooh, beautiful. Oh, let's go, 19%, I love it. Like, the thing about your shield and your ward decay and all that stuff is, like, when you see, like... Alright, let me just... Alright, hold on 1 second. I'll give you some context. Let me give you some context for what I'm talking about here. Where is my... Okay. Where is it? I have a spreadsheet here. Okay. Let me make sure this is actually working correctly. Alright, so here is the corruption versus XP spreadsheet. So in 1.1 they changed how the scaling works, right? And this is the amount of bonus XP. If you're playing COF, your item acquisition is entirely tied to XP, right? XP means favor, which means items. The problem is that, like, once you get to 1,000 corruption, there's not really much reason to go beyond that. Like, you get a bit more LP chance, but there's diminishing returns. You get a bit more gold, but like, all of that stuff, right? Diminishing, whatever. Like, there's very little incentive to continue. The main thing you get is rarity, which is good, but that alone is not enough. So if we're looking here at 1,000, like, you can see going to 1,100, you go from 1080 XP to, or wait, no, I'm looking at the wrong one here. Is this chart wrong? Did I do this wrong? I just changed this chart. It might be wrong. Let's see. Rarity has infinite scaling, yes, as far as I know. Yeah. This doesn't seem... Oh, I'm looking at the 1.0 XP. No wonder. I'm being stupid. I was looking at the wrong side of the chart. I should know better, considering I made this. Anyway. So, yeah, you can see the XP here. This is the amount of XP you get. At 1,000 corruption, you're at 480. And then at 1,100, you're at 486. So gaining 100 corruption at 1,000 only gives you 6 XP. That's like nothing. Basically negligible. So, like, that's the thing. You need to farm at 1,000 corruption. That's the most efficient way to play. Beyond that, doesn't matter. There's no reason to. And now, let me show you. Where is it? So right now I'm playing a hardcore build. Like I'm still like early on in my build. It's not quite min-maxed yet. But let me give you the context here. How's the social aspect of Last Epoch? I think it's good. The community is really good. I think the community in general is a lot better than the PoE community. People are really helpful and friendly and all that stuff. It's not as big of a community, but the people we do have, I think, are a lot more friendly. Okay, where is... Okay, so here you go. So this is 1000 corruption. For context, right? Like this is the highest amount that it makes sense to farm. Beyond this, there isn't much point. And this is the build. This is what the build looks like at 1000 corruption. Now this is a 1 hour stream where I'm trying to go as fast as possible. And I don't die a single time during this hour, right? So like you're saying that this is a glass cannon build, but it's really not. Like this is as far as people are realistically supposed to go. And like I don't even come close to dying, right? Like this is what I'm saying is broken. Like this is broken. This is not okay. This what you're seeing right here should not be in the game. This is a build that can one-shot bosses. It can speed clear. Like I said, 200% move speed. Like you instantly clear like everything, right? Like this is definitely not intended. And like sure, you can get more ward than this, but why does it matter? Like you have DR, you have armor, you have all this stuff. Like that doesn't... Like ward itself is still in a very strong state. And all the other defenses you can stack on top of it easily are like, they're also quite strong too. Int stacking in general is quite strong. But yeah, that's basically it. Like this is what speed clear 1000 corruption looks like. The goal is to not get hit when focusing on... I'm not even talking about not get hit. I get hit a lot. My point is just that this is a tanky build. It's a high damage, but it does everything. And that's broken. Like I feel like the point you're trying to make is that it's like, oh, you have damage, so therefore you don't have defense. It's like, no, you have both. And a lot of the best builds do have both. Like it's not like, oh, you have damage or you have defense. You literally have both. And you have mobility, you have quality of life, you have everything. And like it's so crazy out of balance. Tanky DPS, yeah, you have everything. And like the game gets stale, like yeah. Balanced class, yeah. I mean, to be fair, I think that you could argue that my gear is pretty crazy, and that's why I'm able to do that, which would be a fair argument. Like, that's a reasonable argument. Like, people should be able to spend a lot of time min-maxing and then have godlike characters. And I don't think I have a problem with that argument. But like, there's a lot of builds that, with terrible gear, they trivialize all the endgame content. Like, that I think is problematic. The problem is that the disparity between different skills and builds and classes is just so large. If it was like 10 or 20%, I don't think it would matter. but it's like 10, 100 times.
Fools. Fools.
Carrying 750 with ease, yeah. Yeah, and the build that you saw in that clip, like, that's a hybrid build. Like, that's not even like a clear speed build, that's a hybrid build. Like, it can clear echoes and one-shot bosses without any skill or passive swaps. If you went for a full clear speed build, it'd be even crazier. I hope that prismatic gaze is good. Yeah, the Wraithlord was pretty insane. Yeah, their nerfs are generally pretty fair. They don't like destroy things. They kind of just like nudge them down. And then sometimes they come back around for another nerf if it wasn't enough. A lot of games just like take an overpowered thing and nerf it into the ground and make it like completely terrible. I like that EHG doesn't do that. Yeah, exactly. Playing the hybrid build, it's like, you don't even need more single target, and you don't need more AoE. You have so much extra of both that you don't need to sacrifice anything. Like, that's the sign of, like, things being unbalanced. And even just, like, you look at the numbers, like, some skills have, like, terrible numbers, and then you look at something like Static Orb, you have, like, infinite scaling more multiplier here, another separate infinite scaling more multiplier here, then you have, like, a bunch of shotgunning stuff you can do, you have a pretty big 1 point more multiplier here, you have, like, 25 crit multi per point here, pretty big more multi here, like, you have, like, this tree is insane. Like, the scaling on this is just nuts. And then you compare it to something that's, like, weak, and it's so crazy. What did they change? They didn't change... Like, you could one-shot bosses in 1.0, it's just nobody cared because bosses were not a big part of the game in 1.0. Like, there were builds that one-shot, like T4 Jolra, but there was no Aberoth, there was no whatever. Right? Like, this was viable, and it continued to be really good. But now that we have like Harbingers and we have Aberoth, we have all this stuff, like I think one-shot boss builds have become more popular. What enabled this build though is all the changes to Sorc. Like Sorc got huge buffs. It was all about the Mad Lightning Sorc? I don't think so. I don't think it's the same. I'm not really sure. I don't remember which one you're talking about, but maybe. Yeah, all those builds, yeah, those builds weren't insane either. The loafs, I think I know what you're talking about. Was it Lightning Blast? Because that one didn't have as much damage or air speed. Like it wasn't a bad build, but definitely not on the same tier as the builds we have today. Yeah, the ward gen did also get tanked. That's correct. Not only did they change ward, they also nerfed ward gen. Yeah, Sorc got a huge buff, and Runemaster got a huge nerf. Like I played Frostcloud Runemaster a lot in 1.0, and it was one of the strongest builds in the game. But even then, even though the build was quite strong, it was more of like a speed clear. It was like a tank and a speed clear. It didn't have good single target, because you had to give up so much to get that survivability and clear, that you just didn't have single target. I mean, it was A tier. Like, you could kill Jorah potentially before it even phased with, like, really good gear. But it wasn't anywhere near one-shot. Like, it wasn't that crazy. But then with all the Sorc changes, Frostclaw, even though it got nerfed into the ground, like, a lot, it ended up being even stronger, I think, overall. Like, I actually believe that this build is overall stronger than the Frostclaw Rune Master of 1.0. Yeah, 60 to 70k ward was not intentional. And it wasn't even just a lot of ward, too. Less tanky, yeah. Yeah, definitely less tanky. Rune Master also had a bunch of free damage reduction. It had 30% DR for free from Runic Invocation. Like, I don't know if you guys realize how much DR 30% is for free. It's, like, actually insane. There's almost no sources in the game that give you that much DR. Like, not even close. And the ones that do are all, like, super conditional. Like, Runic Invocation was, like, single-handedly made Rune Master OP. And then it had even more OP stuff in addition to that. And then it also gave ward, too. Ward per second. On top of the 30% DR. Like, it's so insane. Didn't I have a 206-int Rune Master? I did. I think I peaked at like 220 int or something. It was a very strong build. I still think that that was one of the best builds in the game last cycle. Ah, man, this is such pain. I still think it was one of the best builds. That was too OP. It was OP because of the amount of ward that you could generate. Like, it had S tier clear speed. Like, the clear speed was insane. It had probably like A tier bossing. It was good. I won't say it's bad. It was pretty good. Not one-shotting. But the biggest problem is that it did that while having like 60,000 ward. And on top of the ward, you also had like 5,000+ armor. You had cap resist, you had cap crit reduction, you had some dodge if you wanted, and then you also had like 50% DR or something. Like, all of that together meant that you pretty much couldn't die at all under like 3,000 corruption. Like, it's actually insane how tanky that build was. Like, ward is not necessarily, like, you can't really compare, like, number to number. Like, you can't say, oh, this build has 10,000 ward, it's tankier than this build with 8,000 ward. Like, it's not quite enough to just compare the amount of ward. You really need to look at, like, all the DR mechanics. Like, I have a bunch of, like, DOT mitigation, I have a bunch of armor, I have even more things that give me armor, I have flame ward for more defense. Like, all of these things together, like the DR and the Rune Master tree, like, all of these things add up. And, like, with the Rune Master, you had, like, several 100,000 EHP. Like, literally hundreds of thousands of EHP, because of all your mitigation and stuff. And yeah, in-stacking is insane. I agree. Like, it's a little bit too strong. It gives a lot of stuff. I think if they nerfed ward further, in-stacking might be in a worse spot. But even then, I'm not sure. You've been playing the build too? Yeah, it's busted. That's what I'm saying. Super busted. And I mean, even though this is like my favorite build, I'm totally fine with them nerfing it next cycle. It doesn't bother me at all. Because then I'll just find a new build. Like, that's the whole fun of the ARPGs, is like, you have your fun build, it's OP, whatever, then they nerf it, the meta changes, you get a new one. This is a Spire map, I need to be careful. Find a new build to get nerfed, exactly. That's what I'm saying. You made it to Lagan before you died? Ah, man. Lagan is the ripper of characters. Glad you're enjoying the build, though. Yeah, it's definitely a viable hardcore build, 100%. One of the strongest, I think. Just the early progression is so smooth. You need almost no gear to get started. And then the scaling is also quite good. That was a pretty big hit. Oh, oops, I left before the echo was done, didn't I? Yeah, I did. That was a pretty big hit. The rock from the undead dude with double 20% increase, 200 corruption. And it only hit me for like 1,000.
Fools. Fools.
You switch from max roll to this? I switched from max roll to this at like level 51. Like immediately. You could probably even switch earlier, because the Frostclaw base damage is quite high. Like if you actually do the math, I'm pretty sure the total base damage of Frostclaw is actually higher than Glacier. I'd need to add it up, but you get so many hits from Frostclaw. I think it wins, even early on. And it's lower mana cost too. Might try and make like a Frostfall leveling guide. I'll have to test it out. That'd be really cool if I end up making another hardcore character though. If I have a Frostclaw alternative for leveling. I think people would probably enjoy that.
Fools.
Frostclaw has Mage Class and Chokehold? Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, Frostclaw is definitely one of the strongest skills. But I don't know if it's dominant enough to say that... Like, I don't know... I don't think it completely defines the Mage class. Like, even with Frostclaw, like, I still need a skill for single target. Like, the bossing is not quite good enough. And, like, there's still people playing other builds. Like, Glacier is still viable. There's pros and cons. Even though I do think Frostclaw is the best skill, I think Mage still has flavor even without it. You were doing their Frost... Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. I mean, obviously, I'm biased. I'm pretty biased, but I do think that this version of Frostclaw is a lot better. Just because of how much free base damage you get, like, right off the bat. It's pretty hard to compete with that. mean, that's the whole point of the Glacier leveling, is you get like so much free base damage, but Frostclaw gets even more. I mean, that's the thing about like... Alright, let's look at Frostclaw for a sec. So it has, Frostclaw has 100% damage effectiveness. It sounds bad, right? Like, how much does Glacier have? I don't remember. Yeah, 100%, 175, 350. Pretty good, right? So this is what? 275 plus 350. I think that's 625, if I'm mathing that correctly. Wait, am I? Yeah, 625 effectiveness. So you get a staff, you do a bunch of base damage. Really, really strong leveling skill. Alright, let's jump over to Frostclaw. Oh yeah, and by the way, mana costs. 62, you can reduce it, but you don't want that. But anyway, it's pretty high mana cost. Then let's jump over to Frostclaw, right? So it's 100% effectiveness. Sounds pretty bad. But then if you go down here and do Volley of Glass, this is already 5 projectile hits per. So just going down here, you're already at 500% effectiveness on single target. And then what's really interesting is these extra bounce nodes actually multiply the initial hits. Like, it's kind of hard to explain how it works. But like, if you attack an enemy directly, the first cast hits with 5 projectiles because of Volley of Glass, and then each of the bounces also hit those same 5 hits from all of the arcs of Frostclaw, like the extra casts, that either travel through the enemy or originate from the enemy, or end at the enemy, for that matter. So I know that sounds confusing, but the TLDR basically is if you have Volley of Glass and you have all of these extra nodes, if you hit the enemy directly, you get 15 hits. So the minimum, you hit them directly, is 1500% effectiveness. So it's like already like almost 3 times what the Glacier has. Like, that's insane. Like 1500% per cast. And if you do the Frozen Malice tech with the bounce back, you can get up to 25 hits. So 2500% damage effectiveness. Like, on single target, you can do that realistically. Like, that's insane. Like, I don't think people realize like the math of how many hits you're doing with that setup, but it's like completely absurd. Yeah. I don't know. I think the numbers are just insane on Frostclaw. Like, way, way, way out there. But, I mean, doing the extra hit thing, like, that does take skill. Like, it's something you need to actually do. It's not reliable. And you have to stand, like, right next to things, so... I don't think that's realistic. But even 15 hits, if you hit directly, even that it's quite a lot. And even if you miss, you get 10 hits. So that's still a lot of damage. You wish Hydrahedron? Hydrahedron was meta for a while in 1.0. Did they nerf it? I don't actually remember. Is it not viable anymore? Yeah, Nova explosions are not worth it. It doesn't add much damage to this build. Crest seems interesting though, you get DR. It really forces you to use Phantom Grips though, because you need that crit chance. Oh, it was bugged in 0.92. Yeah, that was on release, I think. That's when they first added the skill to the game. It's a pretty cool playstyle though. Because you can proc it with Flame Rush, if I remember correctly. So you kind of just jump through the map, spawning turrets. It's a pretty cool interaction. T7 mana, okay. T6 int. Okay. Actually got quite a few chess pieces there. Hmm. Kind of liking these early Echo reward nodes. I don't think they're worth it late game, but early on, when you don't have a whole lot, I feel like they are kind of high value. Doesn't solve. Yeah. Yeah, you really need base crit somewhere. It's pretty much mandatory. Either grips or prismatic gaze. One of the two. I guess technically you could use the scepter that gives base crit. That would also work. Scepter might even be an interesting option. I just think Wrong Warp and Ladle and all those are way too strong. One LP on my strands, let's go. Not a great roll, but pretty nice. Maybe we can get 2 LP. The dream. Nova Claw is viable. I understand the build. I made a video on it. It's viable. I agree. But it's worse. Wait, hold on. Dragwrath Claw. I don't think Dragwrath Claw is the way to do it. Dragwrath Claw doesn't have any reduced mana on it. It's very hard to do that build with Dragwrath. Especially because you're using mana on Lightning Blast as well. You'd need a mana generator of some sort to sustain that. Plus Dragwrath Claw late game is a lot lower damage than Ladle, and probably also Wrong Warp. Yeah, Claw is good early on. It has some base damage. There's merits to Claw. But it doesn't really scale that well. It does give you extra ward, which is nice, but overall, I don't think you quite get enough scaling. Like Ladle gives you more damage, which goes really well with the flat damage you get for free from Enigma. Wrong Warp gives you a bunch of mobility and also like 500% whatever increased damage. And it gives you mana and flat damage. And cast speed and all that other stuff. Whereas Claw gives you some ward, it gives you some all-res, which gives you gearing flexibility. It has no minus mana, but it has crit, which allows you to use Bone Clamor if you want as a helmet. So I think there's some merits to both. But overall, from like a lot of testing, Claw did feel worse in endgame. Lowers the floor and the ceiling. Yeah, I could see that. I'm not completely convinced it lowers the floor. Because the mana sustain issue is a problem early on when you don't have a lot of mana, and I feel like Claw makes that a lot harder. Like once you have a lot of mana, it's not a big deal, but early on that's painful. You do also get the resist though, which is very nice, all res. So maybe. I guess I could be convinced either way. Yeah, Ladle is much harder to get early on. At least it seems that way. Yeah, huge damage boost from Ladle, pretty much.
Fools. Fools.
Might be able to get 95 tonight. Would be nice. Laggy map though. That frame rate. Yikes. Wait, hold on. Which timeline am I in? Am I still doing Reign of Dragon? Did I forget to switch? I don't even remember. Might be doing the wrong timeline. Mana Strike instead of Frostlaw. Wait, what? What do you mean? Fix the mana issues? I'm not really sure. Give me one sec. Wait, what are we talking about? Warden's Echo? Are you talking about the extra Frostlaw cast node? What's the issue with the mana? I haven't played this build, so I'd... Yeah, what's the problem? Does it not work? Mana drains too quickly. Are you saying it's bugged or it should be buffed? I've talked to people running this node and they've been having an alright time. Gotta use Mana Strike or Focus together. Well, of course you would be using Mana Strike. You're saying it should be when you use Mana Strike and hit one enemy you have a chance? And the idea of this is that you use it with Mana Strike. When you're casting Mana Strike, you get Frostlaw. Mana Strike helps you with the mana. And then you cast the spell. Like, that's the whole theme of the Spellblade is that you're proccing spells. You have, like, nodes like this that have reduced cast speed, flat spell damage. Like, this is good because you're not directly casting spells, you're using attacks. So you don't care about reduced cast speed. Like, that's the whole basis of the theme, is you're using melee attacks and proccing spells. I'm not sure where... What's the issue? Like, all of this stuff is based on attacks. Like, you use attack speed, you get ward per attack, and then you proc spells with your attacks. Like, that's the spell part of the Spellblade. This is the spell. It doesn't scale with melee damage, it scales with spell damage. Frostclaw cast through Mana Strike scales with spell damage because it's a spell. Your build scales with attack speed and spell damage. You don't really care about melee damage. Although technically you could care about melee damage because you can convert melee damage into spell damage with Frostclaw. So that could be a build. I'd be interested to see if anybody could make that work. It might actually be interesting. Kind of like that idea. I don't know if that would be better than just direct casting. Frostclaw though. What's the idea? I was just saying, like, in the Frostclaw tree, there's the Glamdring node, which converts melee damage into spell damage. I was wondering if you could do some sort of hybrid build that procs Frostclaw with Mana Strike. So you get a bunch of melee damage, and then you convert it into spell for Frostclaw. There's the two-handed sword. Yeah, I think I know the one you're talking about. The one that casts like Tidal Wave or something. What is that one called? Spell something? Spell sword? It looks like that Dark Souls sword. Moonlight. Battle Mage Endeavor. Yeah, there you go. That's the one. You think melee skills and Spellblade shouldn't cast Frostclaw, but instead Mana Strike? But then it would just be Blade, it wouldn't be Spellblade. If you want to make a class that's like the Blade, then yeah, that would make sense. But because it's like, you know, Spellblade, you need the spell in there somewhere. So like you use a melee attack, you get a spell. Like I think that's like the synergy. Spellblade doesn't scale with spell. It does. It literally does. Like if you hold Alt on this node, it shows you Frostclaw, and you can see right there's a spell tag. I think you might be the one that's trolling here. This 100% scales with spell damage. Like, why do you think that they have spell damage in the tree? Like, do you think they're trolling? So I can guarantee you that it does. There's melee nodes in here too, but yeah. Alright, well, I don't know what to tell you. You're not correct on this one. I don't really want to do an arena. Eh. Watch me rip. That'd be a funny way to go. I don't even need to be doing this boss. Oh. Yeah, Flame Reave is not a spell. Frostclaw is a spell, though. Yeah, bosses are a chore without static orb. True. I don't think we're understanding what each other is saying. I think there might be some confusion here. You can build a melee Spellblade if you want, and not use spell damage at all. You can go pure melee, that's fine. Or, you can use your melee to proc spells, and then go as a hybrid that uses spells and melee. Like, you have the option to do either. For your Flame Reave, it sounds like you're pure melee. But for the Frostclaw setup, you're not. Yes, Mana Strike is a melee skill, correct. That is true. Alright, hold on. I've already made this build. I don't even need to. You don't need to take my word for it. I've done this already. I have first-hand experience. Give me 1 second. Some of you may have already seen this, but I guess I'll show it anyway. If you're running Pure Frostclaw right now, how much work is it to move to Static Orb? It's not that much work. You just need a bunch of mana. That's basically it. Where is this build? There it is. Here you go. This is the build. This is like kind of a meme build, and this is pre 1.1 by the way, so this got buffed significantly. Let's see. So 3,500 corruption, here you go. So the damage is pretty good. Ward numbers are around 10,000 now. They're not quite as high, but still quite high. But anyway, this is the build. And I'm pretty sure I included a planner. Okay. So I built this as a Rune Master, but you could build it as a Spellblade, it doesn't matter. But anyway, I'm scaling my damage with Enigma, which is a spell. Smart Charges is a spell. So if you go into skills here, I don't know if it'll let me see it. Skills, so I might have to go to resources. Spark Charge. There you go. This is a spell. We're getting a bunch of spell damage and we're applying it with melee. All we're doing is proccing a bunch of these spells and scaling the damage of the spell. Hey, let's go, Celiac Bandit. Thank you so much for the sub. Welcome to the crew. Much appreciated. Hope you are enjoying the build, as I am. You're using a build planner for damage? No, that was the build. I just showed you gameplay of the build. I built it. It's a real build. Alright, I'm done arguing about this. I've played the build enough. This is not productive anymore. I think we want better armor. I'm trolling. Yeah, you got me. You got me. You caught me red-handed. I'm trolling. Damn. Definitely trolling. The real damage is the friends we made along. Oh my god. You guys are all trolling now. Oh no, poison. Rip. You're telling me that you should be able to proc Mana Strike with Mana Strike, which I mean fine. That could be a thing. I just don't think that there's anything wrong with what we already have. Okay, guys, am I crazy? Is what I'm saying making sense? I'm not even sure. It's been a long day for me. I don't know if I'm just, like, being absolutely crazy here. It is possible. You should be able to proc Mana Strike with skills in the Spellblade tree. Okay, Mana Strike is in the Spellblade tree. You're saying you should be able to proc Mana Strike with skills in the Spellblade tree. Right, so you're talking about Mana Strike. Mana Strike is in the Spellblade tree. So you use Mana Strike and you proc Mana Strike. It's not? What? Okay. Tell me what skill that you believe you would be using to proc... Oh no, you're right. No, you're right, you're right. That one you are correct about. I am crazy this time. Mana Strike is not in the Spellblade tree. You're saying that you should be able to proc it with, like, Flame Reeve, for example. I don't know why I was saying that was in the Spellblade tree. It's like, obviously it's not. You get it at, like, level 5. Yeah. I mean, I think you, like, you were saying that, like, this node should be changed to, like, this other thing that's completely different. I feel like the idea you're presenting is not a bad idea. I just don't think that they need to be the same idea. Like, I think those could be two separate nodes. Like, it would be really cool if there was a node, kind of like what you're saying, where, like, I don't know, you use Flame Reeve, whatever, and then you get a free Mana Strike. That would be cool. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't think that those two things are mutually exclusive, though. Like, you're saying there's something to buff the melee skill. If you're using Frostclaw, Spellblade Frostclaw, you're probably using Mana Strike. Because that's how you're going to sustain mana. If you're using a different skill, like Flame Reeve, you're probably not proccing Frostclaw with it. So I don't think that that's really practical. I mean, maybe. I don't know. So, like, you're kind of combining two things. I think they both are viable ideas. I don't see why they need to overlap, though. Like, why does it need to be one or the other? Actually, why do I even need more armor? This is fine. I'm only missing 20%. Getting more from here out is such a pain. I don't think I want to bother with that. I think I might actually just push outcasts. Try and get yeah, let's just push outcasts. Okay, hold on. I'm not sure if you're aware, but there's a node in the Frostclaw tree that it procs on melee use. It doesn't matter what melee skill it is. You just need to have this spec'd. It doesn't even need to be on your bar. And this can be Mana Strike. You can't do that on Mana Strike. I did do it. I just showed you a YouTube clip of me doing it. Like, that was the YouTube video I showed, was that. That was how I did it.
Fools. Fools.
Yeah, you take both and you should get 50% chance to proc. You don't get any added benefit? You get all sorts of benefits. You get the hits of the spell. You're saying versus doing it like self-cast? Like, if you were to just directly cast Frostclaw? I'm not sure if you're saying there's no point in doing it if you're playing Mana Strike, or if you're saying it's like, if it's just worse than direct casts. Actually, I want to try something. I would suggest checking out the build guide that I just showed on stream. It could be useful. Because it's not just that you get the melee from Frostclaw. You also get a bunch of other benefits from, for example, Ellie weapon, you get a bunch of attack speed. You get the, I can't remember if I even took zaps. There's some stuff you get here. You can also proc extra melee hits. There's like idols and stuff. There's, what do you get? Mana Storm here. You get extra spark charges here. There's some stuff like this gives you 100% spark charge on melee. There's spark. There's even more here. You get another 25 spark charge on melee. There's idols that give you a bunch. You can get like over 200% spark charge on melee. And then with the Frostclaw procs, you take this, so you can get up to 50%. It's pretty good. And then if you're using Dragareth, you can go into Lightning Blast even, and the indirect Frostclaw you cast will also cast Lightning Blast, which will detonate all the spark charges you've applied. Like, there's a lot of synergy there. And you get so much benefit from just using the melee in the tree. Like, you get 12 ward on melee use. That's quite strong. You get extra ward here for free. You get ward gain 24 on elemental melee, which I believe it was lightning. You get a lot of stuff just from using melee. You get a lot of free attack speed. Like, there's attack speed here. There's 50% attack speed here. Like, there's all sorts of stuff. So like there is definitely benefits to doing it. I mean, I do think direct cast Frostclaw is better, personally. But it's not like it's a troll build.
Fools.
It's actually a lot of corruption. 6 and 34 is on 40. Yeah, it's actually almost 300 right there.
An eternity of pain. The end will come. All the same.
288, that's not bad. I think I can live with 288. Would like 300, but this is fine. Ooh. These crossbow dudes do a lot of damage. OP Blade. Yeah. Beyblade. There you go. I mean, I don't think that that's a bad idea. I don't have a problem with that idea at all. It actually feels like a pretty good idea. I just don't know why you need to kill the Frost Claw node to do it. Like, it just seems like those are two different ways to play Spellblade. Like, you don't need to remove a node that already has a purpose. You're not worried about Frost. I mean, fine. If you just think that they should just remove any Frostclaw stuff from Spellblade, then cool, that's fine. You're welcome to that opinion. I just feel like removing one node and adding a different node are kind of like two separate arguments that you're making. And like, I agree with part of it. Like, using a Flame Reave could proc Mana Strike. Like, I think that's a cool idea. I just don't agree with removing the Frostclaw proc node from the tree. I mean, honestly, I probably wouldn't even care that much if they did. I feel like Frostclaw is better played direct cast, but that's like a separate point. What was I even putting points into? I don't remember. For multi? I guess. Wait, why? Is it spell crit multi? It is, right? Yeah, spell crit multi. I mean, Frostlaw itself isn't that crazy of a damage dealer. I mean, you could. Actually, you probably could do quite a bit of damage with Frostlaw, actually, but the point of these builds is you're proccing Spark Charge. The same as like with Mana Strike, like, or ailment builds. Like, most ailment builds work that way. The point of the damage is not the skill itself. It's whatever you're proccing. Remaster Static Flame Reef. 150 Corruption on 72, that's pretty solid. I like it. What is the synergy there to be doing that with Rune Master over Spellblade? I'm curious. What rank are we at on this character? 380, not bad. Not bad at all. Named your reroll Beyblade. Nice. Why can't I see my mage rank here? We're not on here, are we? Level 95. I don't think so. Yeah, we're definitely not. Where are we at? 116751. Yeah, I'm not quite on the top 50 for mage yet. Alright, folks. I think that is enough for today. I need a bit of a rest. Been a long day. Let's do a raid on a friendly neighborhood PoE streamer. Who all is streaming today? Alright, let's go say hi to Perry, see what he's up to. Thanks for the stream. Yeah, no problem. Hope you had a good time. I will catch you guys in the next one. Let's all go raid Perry and say hello. Cheers, folks. Good night.